Hello, welcome back, boys and girls. Today we're reading a Once Upon a Dance story. Today's book is called EKA and the Elephants. Now, this book is dedicated to all animal lovers and it's a dance it out story. So try to act out along with the characters. Now, in this book, EKA is trying to save her family fam. Will she be able to? Well, let's see what happens. Let's get started. Once upon a dance, Eka's brother and sister, Koda and Kanoni, designed the garden and invited Eka and their parents to help. Eka's father dug a trench while Koda turned on the faucet and filled the watering can. Eka's mother held the seeds and Eka gently plucked and dropped each one into the trench. Kanani scooped up some dirt and sifted it through her fingers as she covered the seeds. Now Eka couldn't wait to see what vegetables would come up and imagined being one of the seeds. Quite and still in the cool earth, reaching roots down deep into the ground. And each day, Eka watered the plants and checked the ground for signs of life. Eka was concerned nothing had grown, but Kanoni and Koda said, "Just be patient, Eka." And then one day, a few specks of green splattered the brown dirt, and as they grew, the shoots looked like little green hands waving hello. And as the plants grew taller, leaves started to appear. The pea plants were Eka's favorite. They had long tendrils like octopus legs reaching out in all directions. Koda hammered sticks into the ground near the peas, and the plants wrapped themselves around the sticks so they could grow tall and reach towards the sun. Now the growing sunflowers, with their leaves launching up and out, reminded Eka of fountains. And a few days later, the pea plants grew white flowers, and soon little pea pods poked out. The garden was blooming with colors and smelled like spring. Now, when the vegetables were almost ready for picking, Eka noticed footprints in the garden, bites in the cabbage, and a hole in the ground where a carrot had been. What animal could have made this mess? Eka wondered. And luckily, plenty of vegetables remained for Eka's family to enjoy. So Eka picked the peas lowest to the ground. She washed them and popped the peas from their pods. Kanoni picked, chopped, and cooked some cabbage, and Koda picked 2 carrots and cut them into pieces. Now, while Eka's family enjoyed their harvest feast, Koda shared something interesting that he had learned at school. Did you know elephants can eat 7 times as much food and drink 5 times as much water as a human? And elephants don't like bees, and even though they're at least 100 times bigger. Well, that night, Eka fell asleep, wondering if it was a hungry elephant that had invaded their garden. And Eka woke up to the sound of tapping. Something was knocking on the window. Eka jumped out of bed and pushed aside the curtains to see a purple trunk nudging the glass. An elephant pushed the window open and tickled Eka's cheek with its trunk. And then the elephant curled its trunk into a seat and scooped Eka off the ground. And without any warning, Eka flew out the open window, and she sailed up and over and landed on the elephant's back. "Whee!" said Eka with a huge grin. Eka held on tight as the elephant ran towards the neighbor's farm, and they stopped at the pond. The elephant used its trunk to suck up some water and sprayed it into its open mouth. And then it sprayed the water up in the air and got Eka all wet. The elephant ran back to Eka's garden and came to a stop. Eka swung both legs together and slid down to the ground. And the elephant leaned sideways and then fell to the ground with a thump and started rolling around. Eka joined in and couldn't stop giggling. Eka wished the elephant could stay as a pet and a friend. And suddenly, the elephant stopped and sniffed the air with its mighty trunk. It bolted upright and dashed towards a row of cabbages at the edge of the garden. Dirt and carrot tops flew as the elephant gobbled the cabbages one by one, and then it started on the next row of carefully planted vegetables. Eka jumped, waved, and shouted, but the elephant kept eating. Oh no! What a mess! If that wasn't bad enough, the elephant trumpeted, and more elephants came running. Now the garden was full of elephants pulling up vegetables, eating, and rolling around. Eka realized if they kept going, they would eat all the vegetables and destroy the garden. Eka didn't know what to do. And Eka remembered what Koda had said about elephants, and she had an idea. Eka ran to the kitchen. She grabbed a jar of honey, climbed over the fence, and followed the neighbor's driveway towards the beehives. Eka's neighbor had taught the whole family about bees and how they show each other where to find flowers using a waggle dance. And whether it was Eka shaking or the honey, the bees followed. As Eka climbed back over the fence, the honey jar slipped and fell on the other side, and the bees got upset, and Eka ran back towards the bees, pausing angrily behind her. Now the elephant saw the bees. They dropped the vegetables and took off. Desperate to escape the swarming bees and pounding elephants, Eka flung open the front door. She slammed it and slumped down on the other side. Eka panted, chest and shoulders lifting and falling with each breath. Eka checked, and she was relieved to not find any bee stings. Now happy to be safe inside, Eka lay on the floor with her eyes closed, and after 3 slow breaths, Eka stretched and looked around in surprise. Eka was back in bed. Eka pushed back the covers and ran to the window. The garden was still there, full of vegetables and flowers, and a little lone rabbit sat nibbling on a pea plant. Now still feeling dazed, Eka went to find the family at breakfast. "I just had the strangest dream," said Eka. "A lovely elephant came to visit, but then she invited her friends and they ate all the vegetables in our garden." Eka sighed. And even though the garden was ruined, I'm sad it wasn't real. I think it would be nice to have an elephant friend. Mom, is there any way that we could visit an elephant someday?" And Eka's mom laughed. And she shook her head and said, "Honey, I'm sorry, but I don't know any elephants." And Kanoni ran to her room and came back with a picture of an elephant on her tablet. "Look, I saw a place that saves orphaned elephants and you can visit them. Maybe Eka could have an elephant friend after all." And Eka's mom thought it was a wonderful idea. And a few days later, they went to the sanctuary to visit a young elephant named Juza. Eka sang a song and the little elephant swayed to the music. Eka and the twins danced, swinging their pretend trunks, and when Eka made a little bow, Juza wrapped a trunk around Eka's arm. "Juza wants to give you a hug," the elephant caretaker told them. So Eka hugged Juza's trunk and said, "I'm so happy to have a new friend." The end. Wow. What a wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you for joining us for this wonderful story time. We thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.